Man spots some special visitors on his porch and immediately grabs his camera. It's a wild world way out in Alaska. Mild summers give way to harsh winters, snow-capped mountains line the horizon, and lakes and forests make it the perfect home for any number of animals. With its beautiful landscapes and plethora of animals, Alaska offers enough stunning opportunities to make even the most experienced photographer giddy with joy. That's why Anchorage resident and professional photographer Tim Newton brings his camera with him wherever he goes, never knowing when the chance for the perfect shot might arise. Recently, Tim had a chance at a few once-in-a-lifetime photos, and he didn't let the opportunity slip. The state of Alaska is no stranger to wildlife. Rife with snow-capped mountains, rolling hills, and bountiful forests and streams, everything from bears to moose to all manner of birds make their homes in this beautiful landscape. Anchorage resident Tim Newton knows all that the Alaskan wildlife has to offer. As a photographer, Tim brings his camera along almost any time he makes a trek into the mountain ranges near his home, always ready to capture the perfect photo. Recently, however, he didn't even need to leave his property for a few once-in-a-lifetime photo opportunities. In late September, Tim was sleeping when the sound of something running across his deck snapped him awake. He stirred from underneath the covers to take a peek outside, and what he saw sent him running for his camera. I crept over to the window and I opened the curtains a crack, Tim told the local news in Anchorage, and could see that it looked like a cat. Upon taking a closer look, however, he realized his first inclination wasn't as accurate as he thought. I started to think nothing more of it, he said, but then I noticed it had really big feet and little tiny hairs on its ears. As the gears turned in his brain, Tim realized exactly what he was looking at, a little lynx kitten. This was no house cat playing on his deck. Tim knew he needed to grab his camera so he could take a few pictures. Before he could leave his vantage point behind the screen door, however, he caught sight of something else. Not one, not two, but 3 lynx kittens were playing on his deck. Tim rushed for his camera and seized the opportunity for some photographs. Normally, he said, when you see a lynx, you have just enough time to get your camera out, and then they're gone. Luckily, that wasn't the case with this playful pack. In fact, Tim was able to snap multiple photographs of these lynx kittens in action. They played like you might expect house cats to, leaping at and pouncing on one another. The hammock on the deck was missing, but you have to wonder if the cats would have taken a snooze there if it were hanging in place. Tim continued taking photographs, luckily snapping almost 20 pictures of the lynx cubs playing with each other. Eventually, though, when the babies finally tired out, they appeared on the north side of the property. Tim thought the rare moment was over, but boy was he wrong. Somewhere in the brush, Tim heard a soft mewing, but it didn't belong to the kittens who'd just been playing on his deck. Nope, the sound was coming from the fully grown mother lynx who was watching her kittens play while she hid in the nearby shrubs. At first, Tim was hardly able to see the mother lynx as her coat camouflaged her within the bushes and brush. Once he spotted her, though, the grass around her started rustling. Jokingly, Tim noted, "It's like in Jurassic Park. We got the velociraptors going through the bushes. Well, that's what I saw." Then something spectacular happened. One by one, an entire litter of kittens emerged from the bushes, with the mother lynx leading them directly onto Tim's deck. He would have been lucky to see a family of lynx if he were trekking through the wilderness, away from the major city, but to have them commune on his front porch, he was stunned. Stranger still, a litter of lynx kittens usually tops at around 4 newborns. When Tim totaled up the number on his porch, he counted 7 kittens, which was a truly astounding number. How were they all finding enough to eat? The lynx couldn't easily see Tim hidden behind the screen door, and so they carried on as if he weren't there. Meanwhile, Tim collected over 200 photographs of the lynx family. "I actually had my bathrobe on," he laughingly told the news, "so I didn't have legs, as far as the kids could tell, and I didn't have eyes or a head. I just had this big round thing that went click, click, click." As he collected more and more photos, he decided that he wanted to move out from behind the screen door, which had been limiting the quality and angle of the pictures he'd been able to obtain. The mother lynx, though cautious, remained calm. Despite a human standing mere feet away from them, the lynx kittens and their mother appeared unperturbed. Tim took photo after photo, and never a moment passed he noted that the kittens were not interested in playing with one another. They showed no fear. As Tim moved closer to the kittens, he found them to be particularly photogenic. This little guy posed beside a deck-top furnace as he took a quick break from playing with his brothers and sisters. Tim joked about the experience, clearly still enamored with the moment. They were using the deck as a playground, he said, estimating that it was nearly half an hour of constant play. I've concluded from this that lynx must spend about 1% of their time chasing rabbits and 99% of their time chasing each other. In almost all the pictures, it's not hard to notice the big, almost awkwardly oversized paws on each lynx. These cats traverse long distances through the snow and wouldn't last a day in Alaska if they couldn't navigate the powder easily. Thanks to their wide feet, their weight is distributed more evenly across surfaces, like they're using built-in snowshoes. A typical photograph of a lynx, Tim later noted, might feature a cat in stealth mode, often lurking in the bushes and ready to pounce on its prey. It isn't every day that you witness a lynx playing right in front of you, especially not at your house. A fully grown lynx, such as this mother cat, can reach up to 40 pounds in weight. Her little kittens weighed much less, of course, but their long, lanky limbs hinted that there was a lot more growing to come. To grow big and strong and reach their 40-pound potential, lynx hunt snowshoe hare in the heavily forested regions of Alaska. Because those rabbits are pretty quick, the lynx need to be speedy and agile to catch their dinners. Some of Tim's Facebook fans speculated that this wasn't the first time these kittens have played on this deck before, as they showed no hesitance in playing in that spot for 40 minutes. It's possible Tim only captured one of their less subtle visits. A typical litter of lynx, after a June birthday, will stay with their mother through the late winter, learning to hunt from the mother lynx until they're old enough to survive on their own. These little kits still had a bit more time to go under their mother's guidance. Eventually, after the encounter, the mother lynx started mewing once more. Her kittens obediently gathered around her before the whole litter followed her into the forest and disappeared. An amazing moment ended in an instant. Tim truly captured a once-in-a-lifetime moment when he hopped out of bed to check on the strange noise coming from his deck. It was a good thing he didn't enjoy the warmth of the covers too much, otherwise he would have missed out on an amazing and truly rare experience. Alaska may be full of wildlife, but it isn't often that wildlife plays right into your doorstep. Through it all, Tim snapped these photos while thinking to himself, "What incredible luck. This just beats all. This is just wonderful." We couldn't agree more, Tim.